Uncivilized Vitality, and today's video is going to be about cutting and digging tools. Okay, so we're going to talk about cutting and digging tools, and there's 12 families of tools, but the 8 for the Fieldcraft tools. And you can think of the tools as the necessary implements you need in Fieldcraft or outdoor adventures for safety and to impact the environment. And of the classes of tools, there are different representatives. And we're going to talk today about cutting and digging tools. Cutting and digging tools are probably the primary tool in the subcategory of affecting your environment or changing or impacting on nature. So there are basically 4 classes with a 5th one that's recommended. We're going to be talking about knives, and then shovels, then saws, then axes. And a lot of times bushcraft videos, people always talk about, well, you have to have an axe and a saw and 2 or 3 different knives and all these different tools. Let's talk about kind of the uncivilized take on that. So the idea starts first with the knife, okay? The basic knife. There are 3 types of knives you should have. The one I carry every day is my Leatherman Signal, and this has, I call this a knife, although it has lots and lots of tools and it's a great option for a multi-tool. It has a blade on it. It actually has 2 blades if you count the miniature saw blade. So this is my folding or personal knife. I call it my string and cheese knife in Uncivilized Vitality. I'm always cutting string or rope or slicing off the cheese or using it to open up my food bags and meal prep. So it's just a small knife, my personal knife. And it could be a folding knife because it's not going to be standing up to heavy bushcraft use or combative use. So folding is an option, even a small Spyderco. Used to carry my Spyderco all the time as my personal knife, the one that's with me every day, my ADC. But I switched over to using the Signal because I just need that knife and it's got all the other tools. Okay? The second one I always have with me is my personal protection knife. We're not going to go into that one today. And then the third knife I will add into the mix. Sometimes on Fieldcraft I'll leave the personal protection knife in the truck because I have other implements for that. But if I'm not carrying the Signal and my personal protection knife every day, when I go out into the woods, I either add the third knife to my person or I substitute the protection knife. And that's going to be my bushcraft knife. That can be something as simple as just a Morey companion. These are the ones that we use at Uncivilized Vitality to hand out to people when they're new if they don't have a personal knife. It's just the right size. It gets done all of the small tasks you need. Personally, I carry the bushcraft black a lot when I'm out, when I take my Morey. But I really prefer, for my bushcraft knife, my Fieldcraft knife, a much smaller blade. I like something about 2 or 3 inches, like this MUK or multi-use knife from Boker. This is, we've done a video on this before. This is from Matt Gentry Designs, and then he collaborated with Boker. This is a great knife. Great handle, great finish, perfect size blade, everything you need. This is my preferred bushcraft knife size, or something like this, which is just a small, just a little knife, just enough in the hand, just a 2 to 3 inch blade, enough to get the work done. I know the bushcraft community says things like, oh, you have to have at least a 5 to 7 inch blade, full tang, and all this other. You just really need something that'll is a fixed blade and is going to stand up to the use for wood and for processing game. And since most of the game you'll be processing is going to be squirrels, fish, bird, that kind of thing, this one will work just fine in a pinch. And I can do some heavy-duty bushcrafting with it if you know how to use it. If you're looking for something a little bit bigger, a simple Morey is great. Now there's often talk of the one tool option. So this is my larger knife. This is my Habilis Bush Tools knife. It's been modified quite a bit over the years, but I like this. And the idea behind this is you can use it to chop and slice and dig. It's got a bow drill set divot on it. It's got this anvil for splitting wood like an axe or sawing process wood, but only up to a certain point. And of course you can dress out big game, deer or larger, but it's hard on the smaller game. You got to really choke up and use that blade just at the tip to slice. And since the majority of the time in the outdoors I'm doing the smaller work with my knife, and I just don't want to carry this giant behemoth around anymore, those one tool options, I just have this little leather sheath, this little knife, rides on my belt, sits in my pocket, hangs from my neck. There's lots of ways to carry this, and does a great job, does everything I need, especially since I'm relying on the other tools. So after I have my knife picked out, the next thing I do depends on where I'm going, what I'm doing. If I'm going to do a lot of or some wood processing in Michigan, it's going to be the winter, I'm going to pick a saw next. And there's lots of things, lots of different options. You can go with a Sven saw, which is a folding crosscut saw. This is a great saw. We use these on our events, Uncivilized Vitality for the group events, because it's reliable. It cuts on both the push and the pull. It breaks down. Sometimes the danger is dropping this little wing nut, and this aluminum can be a little bit cold on your fingers in the winter, but you can fix that with a fluorescent fob on the wing nut, and this packs down nice and small. From a folding, you can also use like the Boreal 21 crosscut saws. The other option is to just take the tried and true, the Baco Laplander. Just this little pocket saw. The Baco Laplander can get done almost everything you need to do wood processing for yourself or a small group out in the woods, and it doesn't take up much room. Again, I try to default to the smallest possible tool in these categories I can carry, with some exception. Right, so a Baco Laplander. When you're processing bigger logs for winter camp, you might have 1 or 2 crosscut Sven saws or Boreal saws in your group, but the Baco Laplander is a great personal pocket saw. You could even get by with something cheap like this little glow-in-the-dark no-name brand folding saw. We hand these out at UV sometimes when we're doing just single person carries, just some kind of saw like that. One I have come to like much better recently is the Silky Big Boy. Right? This is a Japanese style pull saw, and I think it's a good compromise between the Laplander and the Sven. It's kind of like the two of them had a baby, and you get this Silky Big Boy. It's easy to transport. Right? It folds down pretty even smaller than the Sven saw. It's got this bright orange rubberized guard. This really came in handy on the river a couple years ago. Right? So it's a good size, but not too big, and it's got all the versatility and can get the work done like the Baco. So lately I've been really liking the Silky Big Boy, but I'll only take this if we're going with a group and I need to process a lot of firewood. Otherwise, if I'm taking a saw, personally, I'll take the Baco. Okay, after you have your saw set up, you're going to need something to dig with. Okay? So depending on what you're doing, at the very least, you need a trowel just for personal business. You can get the cheap, everybody knows these Coghlan's Camping, the bright orange ABS impact plastic, super light, real popular with through hikers because you can't lose it. It's super lightweight. I prefer a titanium. This is my Dirt Saw Deuce 3. Right, so this is my titanium saw. It's a little uncomfortable to dig with, so I got this little rubber handle for the end. Sometimes I will put a little bottle of hand sanitizer there, dummy cord that in with some Ranger bands or tape, so I've got more of a handle. And this weighs nothing. It even weighs less than the plastic one, and it's much tougher. And there's other uses you can use, or other things you can do with this. I don't have my water bottle, but it sits right down in my water bottle holster, right next to my water bottle as well. So at the very least, I have a personal trowel, almost always this one. And then you want to take something, if you have to move a little more dirt, you're going to be manufacturing some debris huts. You might be out a little longer. You want maybe a garden trowel, one of these folding e-tools or military folding shovels. It's quite heavy, all right, so I don't really prefer that. Or if I'm going out to a specialized camp like in the winter, I'm definitely going to need a snow shovel, something I can move the snow, because you're going to be doing a lot of shoveling in the snow. So having a folding, reliable snow shovel is a must. Right? So when you pick your shovel, kind of guess what your conditions are going to be. At the very least, you need a personal trowel. You could use a digging stick, but it's just easier to have the trowel along with you. And of course, there's always the tried and true favorite, which is the cold steel Spetsnaz, my Badger. This one, even though it is a larger, heavier tool, I take this with me because I can move snow with it. I've moved a lot of snow and ice and mud, but it's not as good as the snow shovel. And I use it for my personal toilet duties, even though I usually have the titanium Dirt Saw Deuce with me. But I love to have this because it does more than one function. It's not just for digging. This is also my personal protection tool when I'm outside. If it's sharpened up on the edge like mine, it can also fill the role of the next tool. And in my opinion, the last one you should be worried about taking, which is your heavy chopping and cutting, and that's going to be some form of axe. You can take, this is a cold steel Trail Boss camp axe. I like these because they're the size of the so-called boys axe or camp axe. It's not a full felling axe. It's not a splitting maul, but it gets most of the work done you need around camp, 8 to 10 inch bucks that you can split. And it's not that heavy. This would be for a group camp, or you're definitely gonna be processing a lot of wood in the winter. You'd have to take some of the heavier tools, and you'd want the larger tools for the weather, right? Nice saw or a nice axe. You can get by with some sort of tomahawk. I myself, when I take a chopping tool, prefer tomahawks. I like the cold steel, the trail axe, or what's this one called? The trail hawk. It's got that little hammer pole on there, which comes in super handy. I can take the head and just throw that in my bag. If I don't think I'll need a chopping tool, but I'm not quite sure, I'll just take this off the tomahawk handle, because then I can just throw the head in my pack, and if I turn out to need a chopping tool, I can quickly fashion a handle while I'm out in the woods, right? So, a couple caveats there. You can go all the way from personal, just grabbing a small personal knife, and then consider, I have a personal trowel, and then maybe I'll throw my Baco Laplander. These three tools form the 90% of my cutting and digging tools when I go out on Fieldcraft. The personal knife, the saw for wood processing, and the personal trowel. If I augment anything, I will switch my saw up to the big boy, the Silky, and I will throw the Badger into the mix as well. So this would be my next level up. And then sometimes I'll throw a tomahawk in there if I think I'm going to be out for an extended period or in a group. This would be my second level of cutting and digging tools. Right? And then of course I'll take the specialized tools. If I'm headed out in the winter, then I'll definitely take the bigger tools, like a couple of Svens or the Silky, and an axe and a snow shovel. Right? So it's kind of 3 layers of cutting and digging. If we're working in a group, we can even substitute. I've got my personal knife, my personal trowel, and then I will bring the crosscut saw, or I typically am the one that brings the shovel, brings the Badger. Someone else will bring, 2 or 3 other people will bring a saw. 1 or maybe 2 people will carry an axe or a tomahawk, so that we have those implements available to share. On Civilized Vitality, we work in sets of 3, so you get a little group of 3 people, and each of the group you have a large saw and a large axe and a shovel, and everyone has their personal tools. Now, in addition to all that, any of the cutting and digging, we have a program in the Uncivilized Vitality we teach, especially at Fieldcraft 101s, which we've got a bunch of cool opportunities coming up in 2027. We've got 4 or 5 big FC 101s planned for each of the seasons with different themes. But one of the events we teach at the 101s is the Stay Sharp program, where you learn to use all these tools safely and efficiently, and you don't mix the tools up for what they're intended for. Try to avoid that fantasy bushcraft mentality of the one tool option with one big knife that's supposed to be your axe and your saw to process, and you can dig, and you can do that, and you can do this. So have your personal knife, and then plan accordingly. The next thing you need is some sort of shovel to dig, because you will spend more time moving dirt in the outdoors than you will cutting wood. And then depending on the season and what you're going to need, you might want to include your saw and axe next. Okay, now there's a couple other things. When you take a digging tool, or a serious digging tool, like we're really going to excavate, and I've got the Badger with me. And remember, I like this because it's a makeshift hatchet for limbing or even splitting a little bit, and for self-defense, so I prefer to carry this. Right? When I'm bringing some sort of digging implement, the second half, that 5th tool, is going to be some sort of bucket or dedicated container. Now, it's best if you just carry, if we're going to the winter, we'll bring 5-gallon Home Depot buckets. That's like the big tools with the snow shovel and the axe and the big saws. But a lot of times, just throwing this, for instance, this Sea to Summit kitchen sink 20-liter collapsible bucket, it's kind of heavy duty. We haul water and we can haul dirt in it. You can press into service just your small 3-liter Sea to Summit bag, or a 5-liter, to haul a little bit of dirt. You can use your shovel to put that in there if you're trying to stealth camp or for whatever reason need to hide, you're moving the dirt. The other thing you can do in a pinch is always just use your Morigami or your hood and lay that out, put the soil or the dirt right on that. A lot of times we'll use our hoods and our small shovels or the Badger to transport a lot of sand or gravel from one place to another when we're fashioning a camp, or moving sand in to form a fire pit in an area where fire might not be the safest. On the forest floor, we'll bring in some sand from somewhere else. And if I don't have a bucket or a collapsible bucket or a dry bag, I just throw down a Morigami or use my hood to haul that back. The other thing you can consider for digging, if you want to push this even further, is to just take your bush pot. Now we're blending in from containers. Obviously my bush pot's can be used for a lot of things. It's a miniature bucket, but the handle on my bush pot can be used to scrape and dig. And I can't tell you how many times I've used my bush pot handle or bush pot lid to scrape and dig a hole or to move some dirt. And then till I started carrying this little titanium dirt saw. This thing is just great. It weighs nothing, it takes up no space. I can lash it to a stick. This has been a big help. I prefer the comfort of having the Badger with me, but sometimes I just don't want to carry this, so I'll leave it in the vehicle. Helps me knowing it's there. And the last piece of advice I'd give you is consider your cutting and digging family of tools. Your gloves always belong with your cutting and digging, right? I will bring along a pair of nothing fancy, just leather gloves, thick, kind of cut resistant or really tough leather gloves. Maybe not when I'm handling the personal knife, but when I get the axe and the saw out or I start digging, I break out the leather gloves. All right, so there's my cut and dig tool family, and always start with your personal knife. To me, I just add that, or sorry, with your belt knife or bushcraft or your fieldcraft knife. I always add that to my personal knife, leave my self-defense knife on me, and then I add next is my digging implement. It could be something as small as a trowel or as multi-purpose and robust as your fixed cold steel. After that, I would pick a saw if I'm going to be processing wood. Baco Laplander if it's just me, or if I just want a just-in-case saw, but lately I've been leaning to the Silky, something this large, the big boy, or even a katana size. After that, then I'll move into some sort of tomahawk or axe or chopping. Oh, one more thing I would say. I brought this along. I love my machete. I take my machete a lot, and it's just a simple military surplus style machete. But since I do most of my camping and fieldcraft in northern Michigan, this is not the wood processing tool. If I were in a desert or southern environments, I could replace the saw and the chopping axe with a machete. Some really brave people will even replace their bushcraft knife, saw, and axe with a machete. You could, theoretically, even dig or scrape some dirt in a hole out with your machete, because these are use and abuse type tools. I'm not a fan of the one tool option with them, but if I had to, it would be a machete. I really enjoy that. Maybe I would just take a machete and my bush pot and see if we can do something like that. That sounds like a good idea for an e-camp theme coming up next year. Maybe we'll do that next summer if I can't squeeze it in. Machete and a bush pot. All right, there's the cut and dig videos. Leave some comments below. Do you like my idea of knife, dig, saw, axe? Right? Are you a big machete fan and you got something to say? What do you think about a dedicated collapsible bucket or just improvising buckets out of your cloth tools when you get there? Do you always pack your leather gloves when you're going to be out in the outdoors? That's one of your primary tools, cloth tools, which would be a different video. But there you go, cut and dig, and leave some comments below, like, share, subscribe, buy Rendella coffee, and tune in soon, because coming up in September, because I think this is August still when this comes out, in September we're going to start announcing the Fieldcraft 101s for 2027. You'll get an opportunity to sign up first through a link I think we're going to do. We'll try to do something special with the channel. But that's it. See you next time.